I've been on ladder trucks 80, 100 feet up in the air in pine trees getting cats out. We'd have to decapitate it, and then there's a whole procedure. You throw the head in a can, you crush the can, you put that in a bag, and then, yeah. It assumes that your shoulder is like still inside of your body. Yeah. There have been a couple of times where I've been like standing in a room and looking around being like, where am I? Like, I'm on another planet. I bought weed seeds from Europe in like 2015. Something was wrong with the order and they had to refund me, and they refunded me in Bitcoin. I have a finance degree, like I studied finance, but what I learned in crypto is 10 times more in depth of like just financial knowledge. Billions of dollars are in the scooter industry here. That's Matrix.
Welcome, Bruno.
Thanks, yeah, happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Thank you. So Bruno is the founder of Skoot, a motorbike rental application here in Thailand.
Yeah.
Also a DeFi junkie, a little bit.
DeFi's good.
DeFi's good, cool. And all around interesting human. So excited to
Welcome.
pick your brain.
Welcome to the pod.
Right, all right.
So to get us going, I want to ask you something. I want to ask you, what was the first thing you ever did for money?
So there's this road called Bangla. No, I'm just kidding. The very first thing I ever did for money,
Yeah.
I think I was probably like a 5th grader at a buddy's house, and we were like learning to play poker, and I just got probably taken for all the money I had. Yeah, poker with my buddy when I was like 11.
And did you ever win?
Maybe he like let me win a couple of times just to like take more money later.
Nice.
But I think that was probably the first thing I did for money.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I meant earn money, but being
My first-
suckered is also good.
Yeah. My first job was a movie theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a total nerd.
You like take the ticket taker, or what did you do?
I did that. I was like a host. I was in the ticket office and the box
Usher?
office, I guess.
Usher, like with the torch.
No,
Oh,
we
sure.
didn't have there was
You
no
don't have
ushers
that?
there.
Yeah.
No. But like make the popcorn, like make the drinks, and upsell the candy and stuff.
You get free movies in that situation?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
What about movie posters? Were you able to take the movie
Yeah,
posters?
there was always fights about like who was gonna get like, and the standees too, like the big
Mhm.
like 3D posters. And so like all of our rooms that worked there, we just had like, it looked like a 40-year-old that still lived at his mom's house. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you go to the movies much when you were like younger, like as a group with family, not family, like friends mainly?
Yeah, dude. I was like, I don't have any brothers and sisters. I was the only child, and so like movies were like my thing. Like I lived at the movie theater. First date was a double date at the movie theater. Yeah, I'd go all the time. That was like my world.
Popcorn?
Did I get popcorn?
Are you a popcorn guy? Because some people just they
Popcorn?
Yeah. Who doesn't like popcorn? Yeah.
I don't know. I've seen some weird motherfuckers.
But it was
doing
nasty,
their
though.
Popcorn.
The-
10 minutes.
Yeah, the butter was just like oil. It was just like not real butter. It was just like this like canola butter flavored oil. It's pretty nasty.
It's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you mix, like, there's like people who would put milk duds in their popcorn?
No, never. No, really? People mix in like candy and stuff?
What's the most fucked up thing you saw as an usher at the
Ooh.
movie theater? Any people,
Man.
doing some sexual stuff in
Yeah, I
there?
was about to say like how PG is this? But yeah, dude, we saw it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
So orgies in the Super
I don't
Troopers.
know.
I just said Super Troopers.
Super
Like,
Troopers, yeah. That's some kink right there.
yeah,
Yeah, just all the good stuff, all the bad stuff, yeah.
cool.
Yeah, because we'd have to go into the theater and we'd have to count everybody that was in the theater like 15 minutes after the movie started to make sure they lined up with how many tickets we sold.
Yeah.
And so that's like when it...
And if it didn't line up, was it like, then it's a mission to try and find out who we have to kick out, or you were like, we lost 2?
Yeah, I don't know why we did it. I think we just lost 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was sold out, I think we would like turn on the lights and like be like, hey, that never worked. Nobody's
No,
gonna stand
no
up in
one's
front of
gonna-
200 people and be like, it was me.
Yeah. But I'm come from a really small town, and we had like the cultural hall, which is called the cultural hall. On Friday nights, it would get turned into a movie theater. and it's like all these chairs would get lifted up and put in lines, like shit chairs.
So you didn't have a proper movie theater. You just
Not
had the
in my
cultural
home.
home.
That sounds like some
an hour
outback.
45. Hour 45 away was the real cinema.
And would you take that trip and would it be like a big...
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And the only McDonald's was there too. So if anyone was going to Mackay, they would be like, okay, you could get me a Big Mac, a couple of cheeseburgers, you know, and people would eat cold McDonald's. Like that's how.
How many people lived in this town?
Like rurally 16,000, like, but there's like a big surface area. So
It's like
doesn't
sparse.
Yeah, yeah. So it feels like a lot less. But I know that's not many, but it felt like less. Yeah.
And this was, you were working there pre-mass shooter era.
Ooh, yeah. What? Wait, yeah. That was in like late 90s, early 2000s.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I worked there in like date myself, but like 97 maybe.
It's a prime time for cinema.
Mm.
I remember like Batman movie around that time that I was obsessed with.
You know why? Because it was pre like really, really good like CGI,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so like you didn't have like Transformers and all that, just like
Matrix?
just
Is
like
that-
garbage.
99.
Yeah, that was 99.
99.
That was like peak probably.
Mhm.
Yeah, that movie.
I remember seeing
Jurassic Park, maybe.
Yeah, that was like 96 or something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember
American
sitting
cinema.
next to this girl at the Matrix, and she wouldn't shut up. She's like, "Who's that? How does that work? How is that?" I was just like, "I'm gonna have to watch this again."
Mm-hmm.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
And so now you're in Thailand.
Yeah.
But before that, you were in
Right before Thailand, I was in LA.
LA.
Yeah.
And what were you doing in LA?
There was a year after I quit my career, basically walked away. And then before I came here, where I was actually doing van life.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
sick.
Bought a van, I built it out, and I was cruising just the West Coast. So yeah, Oregon, Washington, and all over California.
My brother does van life.
Really?
He actually has a podcast, Van Life Diaries. Go check it out. Thanks for keeping
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah.
So, but you were a paramedic prior to van life?
I was a fireman.
Fireman.
Yeah, firefighter-paramedic. And then before, like, anybody who wants to be a firefighter becomes a paramedic first. And so I was a paramedic before I became a fireman.
Everyone. So all the firefighters are.
Not everyone. It depends on the size of the department. Like, if you are working for like a major department, which I did,
Yeah.
then you don't have to be a paramedic. But if you were a paramedic, like, you're gonna get hired.
It's kind of like the track.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
one of the golden tickets. Yeah.
And in your station, school
Mhm.
station,
Yeah, station. Yeah.
is there one of those poles?
Yes, I worked at a station that had a pole. Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
But it's people would like sleepwalk. Like something happened back in the day, and like people would sleepwalk on the because all the dorms are on the second story,
Mm.
and they would just like fall down. You know, they would just fall down where the pole was, and so they started putting doors on. Like you have to open the door. It looks like a bedroom door. You open the door, and then there's the pole. But then you don't know like if you're walking into a bedroom or not. So it's the same thing happened. But yes,
More dangerous than fighting fires is the pole
yeah.
casualties.
injury
We lost another one.
Injury-wise, by far, there's more injuries on fire poles than there are like on fires.
Interesting.
But
Yeah,
you put
they
it-
won't tell you that. They won't tell you that, but it's
They-
the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Andrew's all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a lot of secrets being held. And
yeah,
I can only imagine in the firefighting industry.
it's one gigantic.
They're starting the fires too, aren't they?
Probably some places. Backdraft, isn't that like what happened in Backdraft? Wasn't the guy old firefighters?
That was a great movie. I mean, I
Yeah.
can't remember much of it, but I remember thinking that's a great movie.
I gotta.
Is
see
that like a classic, like where like firefighters talk about, like
That's
things
like
from
the
Backdraft?
OG fire department movie, at least that I remember.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then after that, it was like Ladder 49. Was that a show or a movie? I can't remember. Some other stuff, but Backdraft was like the OG fireman movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What made you want to get into that line of work?
Yeah. Before I decided that I wanted to become a fireman, I was in finance and I was sitting in an office under fluorescent lighting for 10 hours a day with Microsoft Excel in front of me and like that was like my life. And I did that right out of college. I did that for like a year. And it was, I just realized that there's just like absolutely no way that I was going to spend the rest of my life doing this. So I quit. I went on a surf trip. I was gone on this surf trip for like 4 months. That trip completely changed my life. And it was on that trip that I decided that I wanted to do something drastically different. Came back, and I think my mom actually like mentioned that her hairdresser's like boyfriend was a firefighter, and so that like planted some weird seed. And then like 6 months later, I was like enrolling into EMT school. But like initially, initially it was very much like for all the altruistic reasons that you would have thought like when you were a kid, right? You just want to like help people and save the world and do all these things. And then over time, you start to see what the job like is, and it becomes something different. But yeah,
How corrupt they all are, starting the fires
like
and killing the people on the fire pole.
yeah, it's not what you think, and then that reality hits. Yeah, and then you just yeah.
I know one person who I was close friends with who was a paramedic, and he was a junkie, heroin addict. And I knew that side of his life, and I knew that he was using while he was a paramedic. And in my mind, I'm like, how does this fly? Like it made me question all of these people, because if someone can get by being a junkie, doing that, is that just like a very specific case for me, or do you think there's
okay, so there's this saying, and by the way, I don't want to like like chastise, is that the right word? The fire service, very good people generally, but there's a saying called keep it in house. Keep it in house. So if something happens, something serious, something like that, keep it in the house. Keep it in house. So
protect your own
above all else. And yeah, like there is like a deep brotherhood there. But yeah, so there was a station in a battalion next to where I worked, and like half the station was like addicted to Adderall, because they worked in like one of the worst neighborhoods, and they were just up all night, and just like to survive doing that job 24 hours a day, seeing what they were seeing. For a few of them, that was just like their release, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would imagine a few of them start using it, and then other people see it working, and it's just
it's like all of a sudden you're just drained, and now you've got energy, and like you're feeling good, and I mean it's understandable.
Yeah,
and especially when it's in like you're doing that job, saving others, helping others, putting out fires all night. It's like it's kind of like giving like soldiers simulation, like they're giving a little helper, during these hard
boost.
times. Yeah,
The fire department would pay for the Adderall, like they would ship. No, just kidding.
Oh, it's bad to say. It was a deductible.
Yeah. It's like with breakfast.
Yeah. Well, I know businesses here who have kratom in the back for their staff.
Have you guys tried that or
kratom?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, no, I haven't.
It's
maybe
stimulant,
I did,
right?
but I can't remember.
Yeah, I'll get real for a second. I was drinking, so you mix it. There's like kratom, and then there's like the street version where you mix in like cough syrup, right?
Okay.
And that like those two things together are supposed to activate like the ultimate high. And I tried that because it's a Thai cultural thing. There's a lot of young Thai people that do that, and it felt really nice. It was like a very warm body feeling, and people get addicted to it. I mean, there's a whole culture of that here. But
wait, so it's
do you
like
want to try some?
Do you have some?
We're working on a sponsor, so
it's sponsored by but it like okay, so it mellowed you out then.
Yeah, it mellowed me out, and
Okay.
it makes the sun feel exceptional, which I think why you see a lot of like it makes the sun like amazing on your skin.
Interesting.
It's like a warm feeling.
Yeah.
I imagine it like a hug, like the kratom, but then also the cough mixture, because some people just drink cough mixture to get off as well.
Yeah.
The people who are addicted to it are mixing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Firefighting is the Thai.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like
Dang is red.
light.
Yeah.
Like if you're a foreigner and you're like into kratom, like you're not a foreigner anymore. I feel like that's like the marquee thing, like that defines like how localized you are.
More than spicy food, more than speaking the language.
For sure. Because it's like the little Honda Waves with like the purple like anodized like aluminum rims, like they're drinking Kratom. Like that's like local.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we asked about the movie theaters.
Yeah.
The fucked up stuff you've seen there.
Yeah.
As a firefighter, it has to be tenfold.
Yeah.
Like, can you share something insane that, you know, is just, that left an impact on you?
I mean, you got to give me like a genre. There's like the dark, and then there's like, it's really dark. And then there's like funny, and then there's, I don't know.
Let's go through the rating system. G to PG first.
Okay. G. Okay, G. Here's a good G one. So a couple of kids were smoking weed. They're like, whatever, 14, 15 years old. Their dad calls the fire department. And dad calls the fire department, an engine, which I'm on the engine, and then a box, which is an ambulance, show up. And I realized probably about like 10 minutes into the call that I'm the only one on the call that like is laughing and thinks it's funny. Like, just like, I'm not really like, I know they're high, like I know. And I realized the other 5 firemen that were on this call had never smoked weed in their entire life. And they were like the quintessential, like good boy, like firemen. And so they just never, and they were taking the call so seriously. And I'm just like in the back, just cracking up with these like 14-year-old kids. And the dad is just like, just irate, you know, because I was the medic on the call. But yeah, I don't know. That was a weird one.
Did you hotbox the box?
That would have been great. That would have been great.
Did the fire, it started in the bedroom? There was a fire? There was actual fire?
No. This was like a medical call.
Oh.
80% of the calls that firefighters respond to are medical. They're medical calls.
Okay, and what about the cats in trees? Is that a real thing?
Oh yeah, that's real.
That's a real thing?
That's a real thing because that's what people think. And so when they're cats in a tree, they call us.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. So that's Hollywood fucking with everything. Right?
Yeah. But I mean, it's real. That's real. I went on tons of cat calls. We'd have to suit up. We'd have to put all our full like gear on because the cats in the trees are just rabid like raccoons, and they would just like claw the shit out of you. And so we'd have to put like all our gear on. Yeah. I've been on ladder trucks 80, 100 feet up in the air in pine trees getting cats out. Yeah. Yeah.
It's real.
And you have a ladder belt and you're clipped into the ladder so you don't, you know. But they always jump out. Like you're never like rescuing the cat. You're just like scaring the shit out of it so it like jumps out of the tree.
Wow. And have you seen a big free fall?
Like yeah. Like 50, 80 feet free fall. Yeah.
Ever seen it not land on its feet?
They always run off. They always land and run off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I've seen some drops, but I haven't seen like cartoon level drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So cats in trees, teenagers getting rattlesnakes.
Rattlesnakes was a big one in like the specific area that I was in. Yeah.
It's almost like a pest control job.
Yeah. We'd have to decapitate it. And then there's a whole procedure. You throw the head in a can, you crush the can, you put it in a bag, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's the protocol for rattlesnakes, is just kill the thing?
We had, they're called snake kits, and it was just like an old soup can, a trash bag, and then like.
This sounds like holdover from like the hobo days.
Yeah.
It's like they never advanced.
Oh, for sure that tech has been around for
You
like
got the soup can?
40 years, yeah. Yeah.
To subscribe. If we hit 100 subscribers within a week, I'll never come again. Just 100. It's not much. You can make a man stop coming. It's in your power.
Okay. What's after PG?
Yeah.
R, I guess.
No, isn't M15 plus? Didn't you have M15 plus?
Well, there's like a 17M.
We had that. Okay.
But isn't that like higher than like R?
No, I mean, I think we had G, PG, M, M15 plus.
We have PG-13, then R.
Yeah, there is PG-13.
Well, what's
And
the
then
next level?
NC-17.
NC-17.
Yeah,
We didn't have that one.
yeah, that was like
Yeah.
porn, basically.
I remember there was a Spice Girls movie that I wanted to rent when I was in middle school,
Yeah.
and it was rated X, and I somehow convinced my mom to let me rent it.
But it was a real.
I was
it
like
was just the Spice Girls?
It was like posh Spice. David Beckham's
That's
now.
a blonde one. Oh no.
It's
Oh yeah, you're right.
yeah.
What's a porn thing?
Yeah, it was a porn because she
Okay.
was like a porn star, and I
I didn't know that.
had a Spice Girls fetish. when I was in middle school, or it was like elementary school, early middle school.
It's better than a Backstreet Boy fetish.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, everyone's obsessed with the boy bands. I'm like, give me the Spice Girls.
And out of the Spice Girls, which one was your favorite? Everyone had their favorite.
I liked Sporty Spice. I mean, they were all cool.
Sporty was the big curly hair, right?
Yeah.
I would have picked you for a Baby.
I was
Baby
I
was nice too. Nothing like a cute.
I had a
Spice
friend
Girl.
who was really into Jerry, and it was like nobody else was into her. but
What
he
was her?
I think Ginger.
Ginger
Oh,
Spice.
Ginger.
Jerry.
Those are the 4 I heard. Jerry.
maybe
There was
it's not
5,
Jerry.
right? There's
I
5.
think so. Scary.
Scary.
comes around my sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, and goes to one of the health retreats there.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting.
she's been in the cafe.
We need her on the pod. Bruno's cool, but we can get Scary Spice.
I'll stop everything.
Put some calls. Let's make some calls. Yeah. So
Okay, what's next?
PG-13 or what's some
Yeah.
darker shit you've seen?
Ooh, dark, man. I mean, this is not a PG-13 one. You want me to get
Just go right for it.
All right.
All in.
Yeah, I think the gnarliest thing I ever had to do was pull a premature fetus out of a toilet. That was pretty bad. Yeah.
I didn't expect that.
No, I thought it was going to be fire related.
Yeah, that was I mean, okay,
Somebody
if you
put
want,
it in the fire in the
no,
toilet.
just like, spontaneous
come out.
abortion in the toilet. Yeah. There was one, this was my very first station, my very first spot. We had a fire. This is a fire call. And it was a son and her mom that lived in this house, and whatever, house caught fire. But the mother was, she was like on oxygen, like she's chronically on oxygen, which is like hyper flammable. And she just like completely just like caught fire. And then the son went back into the house before we got there to try to get her out. And they both died like within like feet of the front door because there's just the smoke bank came all the way down and they couldn't get out.
These experiences make you like, are you like after or while they're happening, are you like, why the fuck am I doing this? Or are you like, this is a good, like, it's good that I'm the one that's doing this because it saves other people from being able to do it. And
there is definitely no deep thinking going on.
Okay.
It is very, very like out front, like jokes, like that level.
just to be able to
of, like,
handle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it a little bit like out of body?
There have been a couple of times where I've been like standing in a room and looking around being like, where am I? Like I'm on another planet, right? Because people, you would be surprised probably of like how, I got another story, of like how badly people let themselves and their lives go and like what their house looks like in that situation.
Like hoarder level.
Yeah, just like bad, just like, yeah. Okay, I went on a call with a guy. Something was not right all upstairs, and it was that situation where his place was filthy, his carpet just smelled, dark room, just never left. And he had like shoulder reconstructive surgery like 8 months ago. And where he had like his joint was replaced, and it was like not a ball and socket, but it was like whatever, it was like steel, like a steel thing. And he fell down, and anyways, he fell down. We get there, and the ball, it looked like a giant like stainless steel ball. It was just like sitting on his chest, and I'm looking at it like, what is that? Like, what is that? And then I realized that it was like his shoulder, his humerus like popped through his skin. And it was like that for 8 months. 8 months.
Just an
like
open
this.
wound with the...
Yeah. And I was like, why didn't you call, like, why haven't you gone to the doctor in 8 months? And he's like, well, the doctor said like that if it's not bleeding, then like I don't need to go to the hospital. I'm like, well, that assumes that your shoulder is like still inside of your body.
Yeah.
You know? And so it was like that level of like complete and total disconnection.
Was there a fire in this one?
No. No.
I'm amazed how
Yeah.
like there's not as many fires.
It's more just like the conceptual fire of like...
The fire of life.
Yeah, the fire of life.
Because I would assume that the police would deal with this type of stuff.
They're there.
They're there also.
But they don't have
Everyone shows
medical
up.
training, you know. They just have like borderline.
Okay, that's why.
That like triggers me a bit into this, like, because the healthcare system in America is completely fucked. Do you think about that in those situations? Like, because it probably just reinforces that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We would have frequent flyers and they would call us once a day and just tie up these advanced life support resources for half of the city. Like I'm thinking about San Diego when I worked there. And yeah, it's a big, big, big problem.
For what reason is that? I understand it's a frequent flyer. That means they're calling. And
Nothing's really wrong with them. Or
so
like
what do they
they're
want to
home-
lift or?
They're home. Yeah. I mean, they go to the hospital. Now they're inside. They have a warm bed. They get, meals. They need medication. Like they're just taken care of. And so it's that thing of just like,
Sounds like good.
give a man a
healthcare.
fish or teach him the fish.
Well,
thing.
the only way they get access to it is if they,
Call 911.
yeah, and they have
Always
some
answer.
emergency.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay for that.
I think
I think in Oz, if you
Well, in California, it's just like Medi-Cal, and then just Medi-Cal pays for it.
Okay.
Chicago probably has something really similar.
yeah.
in Oz, if you call and it's not really an emergency, they're billing you for that fucker.
In America, there's a big problem now that a lot of people are speaking out about. Like when you go into a hospital, you'll sign some paperwork that essentially says you agree to pay the fees, but they don't make the fees clear. And then you leave the hospital and it's like, how much do I have to pay for this thing that I signed for but didn't realize? And there's no transparency around the costs of services delivered.
Theo Vaughn's been talking a lot
Yes.
about that
Yeah,
recently.
yeah. He talked to Trump about that in the
Yeah, he
interview.
did.
Mhm. That's why it's probably in my head, because I listen to everything Trump says.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's true. And then he regurgitates it here.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
This is just a Trump talking point podcast.
Yeah, actually, that's why you're here. So
Fight.
off the fires and on to life in the kingdom.
Yeah.
What should we?
Yeah. So you went from that life.
Well, then there was the gap year, right? And
Mhm.
then, and then came here.
And you decided, you were like, okay, I've had enough of this. I put my years in. How long were you there?
Fire department itself, I think maybe like 6 or 7 years. And then before that, paramedic only was like probably another like 6 or 7 years.
Yeah, okay.
It's like in total it was like 15 years.
15 years
Yeah.
helping.
Strong run.
Yeah.
Yeah.
strong on.
Most of that I was on the ladder truck, like for the fireman side of it. And then, yeah, I mean, after a while, I just like, it's very structured. I think I have a problem with just authority. Like I think I've always had a problem with just like listening to people and taking orders from people, especially if I don't respect them. And that was just like a core personality thing that like I had that I don't think other people were, that affected them as much. But it's very like, get philosophical real quick, but like fire department is like, it's a very structured job. It's very paramilitary. You know what your position is and what your role is. And then if you promote, that one and that one, and you can map out a 30-year career if you want. And it's like, if you are going to be on this earth one time for X amount of time, like, is that the path that you want to walk? Like,
Yeah.
like for me, like, no, man, no. Like I would rather get it all, lose it all, like do the whole roller coaster and then, check out and have a full life versus I think if you choose a job like that, maybe there's like a piece of what led you there was like fear-based. Like I want comfort, I want, safety and I want, but yeah.
Not for you.
Nah, man. No way.
So where did that lead you next? To van life, the opposite?
Yeah, so that was like, to make that decision was like a year because you just don't walk away from the fire department. That's like pension and 401ks, especially where I lived, like mid 6 figures. And it was just like a lot. Nobody quits that job, a lot to walk away from. So I took a year to make that decision. And then finally I was ready to make it and I made it. And then I started van life, which was like a whole thing in and of itself. Your brother probably tells you like stories and all about it. But that was like resetting my brain back to like baseline, like human level. Like it was awesome. Yeah.
Did you build your van or did you buy?
Yeah, I built it. I bought a Ford Transit and just like completely had solar and it had a shower and it had a sink and bed and bathroom.
What year was this? Because this is probably before the big craze of van life, because there's definitely been a boom of that since kind of the housing collapse and also with COVID and
Pandemic,
everything.
yeah.
Pandemic, I can't say the word COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I was probably on the very early part of that, but it was definitely like started up. And I forgot what you asked.
Just what year it was in? Because
this was like 2019, 2020, I think.
Okay, so it was
2020.
pandemic time.
Yeah, it started. Yeah, it started when I was doing it. Yeah.
And what's something that you don't think of that's like annoying as van life? It's like something that like once you start doing it, you're like, oh damn, I should have thought of that. Or did you think of everything?
You have to plan ahead for the most part about like where you're gonna sleep. You know, you have to know, and there's like a big game, you know, because so many people in California do van life now, and so there's like city ordinances about like where you can park and how big your vehicle can be, and so that part was kind of annoying. Yeah,
there's a nice community around that though, right? Like where like message boards and kind of groups.
There's an app. Yeah, there's an app. Yeah, and yeah, there is, and people get in like these caravans and they'll just cruise to like, you know, let's go to Death Valley this weekend, let's go to Joshua Tree, or yeah.
So you weren't really working during this time, you were just living off of kind of savings? And
yeah, I was living off savings, and I went from full schedule to like I had all this time. It's probably a good segue. That's where I started looking at crypto. That's where I started reading. Yeah.
And do you think one of the things that resonated with you was your distaste for authority?
I've never thought about that until you just asked that.
That's why I'm a pro.
Yeah.
You never thought about that?
No, like no, but like it makes sense. It makes sense that like, yeah, it makes sense.
For me, that's a big thing because I'm similar with the distaste for authority bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. I never really put that together, but that's got to be on some deep level. It's got to be true. Yeah.
So when you first started looking into crypto, what caught your attention? What were those feelings, those early days like?
Well, in the beginning, in the very beginning, it was like I was just like trading, basically gambling. I was just buying like Bitcoin and buying like ETH and just holding it for like between like minutes or like days and just trying to like just gambling, right? So that's like probably what drew me to it first. But then for some reason I started like reading about Ethereum a lot more, and then that's when I just like completely fell down this rabbit hole of like DeFi and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what interests you with DeFi? Why do you think it's something that's valuable and important?
When I first so after I went through that learning curve of like getting MetaMask and like learning how to use wallets and like what this thing was, the first time that like I signed into a protocol and I like executed a transaction and I realized that transaction just substituted the entire thing of like what a bank does, and I could do it at like 3 a.m, like in a van, like connected to like a cell tower. Like that blew me away. Like that was like holy shit. Like, and then at that moment it was like, this is going to be so much bigger than anybody. Even now, I think people don't realize how big it's going to be. But yeah, that was like when I first did a protocol. It was probably like Aave or Compound or something, and just like, yeah, that blew me away.
Did you come on to like through a central exchange first?
Yeah.
And set that up and then go work out MetaMask and bridge stuff over. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I think it was a Kraken account that like first got me into it. But I bought weed seeds from Europe in like 2015, and for some reason from like whatever Dutch, like some Dutch like genetics guy, and so I had to like, they shipped it to me in the United States, which was illegal, and something was wrong with the order and they had to refund me, and they refunded me in Bitcoin. And so because they wanted to refund me in Bitcoin, I had to open a Coinbase account. So I had a Coinbase account in like 2015 or 16, but I never used it. And I got refunded like like $60 or something. And then I remember looking at it in like 2017, just open up my Coinbase and like, and it was like $900. Like how the hell? Like, and I just like, I never like dove deeper. And like, that was my moment, man. That was like my moment where I could have like dove deeper. But yes, to answer your question, it was a Kraken account, but I also had a Coinbase account.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because I think now still people are coming through maybe like a mobile app, but a centralized exchange. You know, a lot of people are coming through it. Now a lot of people are even skipping Bitcoin and ETH and going straight for Solana. You know, so their first experiences with crypto are like skipping the older stuff, you know. So I just thought I'd check in.
Also around that time with like, was it DeFi summer of like 2021? It's like all these farming apps with these shit coins that you could farm and just, you know, swap it and just stack up money. I was like playing around with that a little bit. I probably got lucky in terms of not losing all my money. But were you playing around with that?
Yeah, for sure. Like I came on probably like the very end of 2020, and then like, so I missed DeFi summer. That was before.
That was 2020.
Yeah, that was because that was like the very beginning. It was like Compound, and then like that summer. But so then I came on in like the fall, so I missed like the yams, and like I knew all the lore, but like I wasn't in it. But yeah, like that's when I came into it.
Any big wins?
People token, but that was like a lot later.
Oh, the people meme.
Yeah,
I don't know that one.
They were buying the Constitution.
Yeah, they were. It was the Constitution one where they're like pulling all the funds together, and they're gonna like go up against Ken Griffin. Yeah. Ken Griffin or Griffin. And he's like the, what's the name of his Citadel? He's like the Citadel securities guy.
Didn't they get together like $35 million?
Oh yeah, dude. But the whole thing was like everything's transparent on chain, and so like he knew that he just had to bid one more dollar than was in the wallet for like that thing, and so he won.
Yeah, okay.
And then where all those funds go to, that people token?
Yeah, so everybody, it was Juice Box is what they used. And so everybody was buying this people token, and buying the people token was like the money that was going to be used for this thing. And then they lost the thing, they lost the auction. And then what happened? There was something in there like people didn't realize, because you can imagine people that wanted to help buy the Constitution, like they're not even crypto people. Like they're not like half, like the majority of them were just like, oh, we're going to buy the and so they were just like trying to get a refund. And so like they were like burning their tokens. So they're going back to Juicebox, burning their tokens and pulling out their dollars. Meanwhile, they spun up like some Uniswap pools, and like the token started trading on its own, like off of this platform. And then that's when things started getting crazy. And it just
yeah, it wasn't until after that happened that the trading volume started to pick up, because it was kind of like it wasn't donation. It was like you were going to collectively buy it, like you're going to own a fraction. You're going to own a fraction of the Constitution. And I bought some too.
No,
yeah, I wonder if I ever actually got because you could sign a little message. I remember when you made the donation, or when you bought it, you could write like a little message that would be put on the blockchain, and that was kind of like a big thing. Yeah, it's interesting. Huh? So people token, and then anything in DeFi was like degenerate that you were in.
I mean, I was using like every single protocol, I was using every single protocol because like before, and like by the way, like I have a finance degree, like I studied finance, but what I learned in crypto is like 10 times more in depth of like just financial knowledge. And so like I had no idea what I was doing, and I came from this world that like, oh, yield, like, oh, I'm getting like 3%, 5% dividends or like bond yields. And then you like open up these protocols and it's like 3,500% or even more, like 67,005, you know, and it's like, oh my God, look at that yield, you know,
for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah. And then so I was doing all that stuff because I was just like, wow. And then like even something as simple as like supply was like not even on my like radar yet. You know, I had to like, it took a while for me to like get this, like to realize it was actually like a Ponzi, you know, like just all the pieces. And so, but I was still like aping into it. Yeah.
I think it's a pretty profound statement that you learn more in crypto than
Oh yeah.
pursuing a finance degree.
Yeah.
So you talk about supply. What is there anything else that you can kind of boil that down to, like what crypto taught you that this degree did not from all the illustrious institutions that exist out there?
Yeah, just like, I mean, this is gonna like sound really basic, but just like being on Uniswap and understanding like liquidity and slippage, and also like on the centralized, all the order books, and like what that means for like just every single little piece is you have to learn it. You have to learn it.
If you could give advice to someone who maybe doesn't know much about DeFi, is interested in learning or jumping in, do you have any advice?
Yeah, the number one thing that I did, and maybe it's not so relevant now because there's a lot of layer twos that are like cheap fees, but like at the time, like I was burning like 10, 15, 20 bucks on Ethereum just to do one transaction. And like it was stressful, dude. It was stressful because it's like, okay, I could use this 20 bucks to like execute this transaction, like buy this shit coin, and then like, see what happens, or I can like go to like a nice dinner. And it was like every time it was stressful. And so
you didn't eat for a while.
yeah, so I was like living in a van with cats and not eating. But yeah, so the number one thing that I did is I finally came to this realization is like, all right, I'm gonna take $1,000 and like no matter what happens, I'm just gonna like, this is my money to like execute all these transactions, like without even hesitating or thinking about it. And it was like, because I made that decision to like just like piss away that money, I learned like every single one of those protocols did, how to use them, like how to just switch chains and use bridges, and just I learned everything. So that was like the number one thing.
Go in and play around.
Go in and okay, so now it would be now today's version of that would just be go in and just break stuff. Just go in and just don't worry about the money.
I think that's the great thing about crypto. You can go in and play with all of it. Like, how else could you do that with a financial degree? Like, you'd have to have a job at a bank and, go through all these. But we can just get on here now and mess with it all.
And lose all our money.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah, but like with Solana and layer twos, like now these transactions are a fraction of the cost.
They're free.
So you can play around a lot more.
Do you have any thoughts about other chains and L2s? Or in the DeFi category?
I mean, I was like, when Arbitrum launched, I was like on Arbitrum day one, and like that set me up for like a massive airdrop later. But like I've only messed on layer twos right now. I've messed with Arbitrum, Base, Optimism. Those are the big ones. And then there was the side chains like Polygon and Phantom, which you don't really hear about, or at least you don't hear about Phantom anymore.
Sonic now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They rebrand. Time for rebrand.
Reclaim the narrative.
Yeah. But I think, and then I have other thoughts about layers. Well, I was on Solana like in 2021, like early 21 too. But like, I don't think you can fade that Coinbase and Kraken and Binance and OKX are just like, they either have layer twos or they have EVM layer ones, or I don't think you can fade that. So I don't know. I think that's, yeah.
Bearish Solana.
Okay. Yeah.
Better make a trade after this.
I think it's, yeah.
Last episode, Cody talked about how he just bought a bunch of Solanas.
Big thanks to our sponsor,
BTC Space in Phuket. Awesome facility, big meeting rooms like this one we're in here. There's small meeting.
Hard fork
room. There's the Satoshi room. There is the green screen media space. There is a co-working space with a coffee shop downstairs.
Good piccolo.
Good Americano. Awesome VR studio to play a bunch of games. You can rent an office here. I think they also have services to help you if you're setting up a company in Phuket. So just reach out to them.
Money exchange downstairs, crypto to cash. Cash to crypto.
Everything you need for a good time.
Branded water bottles.
Most importantly. So come check out BTC Space.
So what's your biggest bag?
My biggest bag now?
Yeah.
Oh, it's ETH for sure.
ETH for sure.
Staked.
So you're still solid on ETH.
Yeah, man, it's not easy these days. It's not easy these days.
A lot of FUD out there.
Yeah, but I think people underestimate like how big that wheel is that crypto is trying to turn. Like, I mean, what are the biggest things? It's like religion, like maybe sex, and like money. Like those are the three things that like And we're trying to turn money. Like that's a big, big, big wheel.
Exactly. I've always thought like nerds can now mess with money. And that just unlocks. Like before, it's like an insider's game. Like there's no way to do anything with it. And now anyone with a laptop, internet connection, and
can build
these
a
guys,
bank. Can
exactly.
build a bank.
So it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
And
we also live in a time now that things happen so quickly that when stuff moves a little bit slow, it's like, why is this taking so long? Because and again, for another segment of like me knowing nothing about what I'm talking about, when you look back in history at these big paradigm shifts in terms of money, it takes hundreds of years, like these transition processes. And it's like, what, it's been
15 for Bitcoin,
yeah,
which
years.
It feels like it hasn't been that long, but it has been 15 years. So people are like, if it was going to happen, it should have happened already, right? But I'm with you on that. And sometimes I just need to be reminded of it. And you're a good person for that. I really appreciate that, because you really believe it in your core that big wheel, however slowly, is turning.
Well, it's mental illness.
What is?
Me. Like there's
welcome to the club.
Only explanation is just like severe mental illness at this point.
Yeah. Really? It's not mental clarity and foresight?
No, I think it is.
Vision? I think it is.
It's both. It's both. You got to be a little delusional to be able to like see these swings in your portfolio and like just married to it as it's going down. Like you have to be a little bit crazy.
Especially ETH at the moment.
Yeah. But like to go back to what you said, like I'm holding ETH and like, am I a believer? It's like, and then in the context of like, you do have to step back and it is a big wheel that's turning. I mean, there's like how many tens of thousands of nodes and validators on ETH, and like there's like, and I hate to like kind of like parrot some of the things you see on like crypto Twitter, but like really like Solana, like if they really wanted to shut it down, like they could shut it down like tomorrow. There's like 3 data centers. There's like, I don't know how many validators, but like it takes $6 million to like run a validator profitably on Solana. And like, that's an easy person to find. And like, if you go back to like, what is crypto? Why was it born? And why is it here? Then, and that's like not easy to do because of like what's happening now with like meme coins and shit coins and, all this rampant gambling. But like, if you go back to like, that's why we're here and that's what it's here for, you can't fade ETH. Like you just can't fade it. Like you can't fade it. And so I don't know. That's what I'm thinking.
ETH.
Yeah.
Conviction. I like it.
No, I like it. It's true. And it's because it's the backbone. It's been there. It's distributed enough. It's been battle tested. Like the amount of money that's gone through and that's sitting on the protocols now that sit on top of ETH is nuts. And then all the layer 2s now. So no, I agree. It's just that in this narrative, quick cycle, quick money game that's being played, I just like kind of went like dropped a bit of Matic and switched over to ETH. I don't know, ETH Sol, because I just thought, okay, for this run, there's going to be more gains in it.
Yeah.
But from the fundamental like what I believe level, I'm also still have faith in ETH. But yeah, can't fade Solana for the gains at the moment.
Let's see.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, Ton got shut down. Did you see Ton had 2 outages in the last 24 hours?
Oh, really?
Like a day
dogs
ago.
brought it down.
Yeah, the dogs brought it down. Dog token. Did you see that?
No.
So someone shared dog token with me, and it's like one of these mini apps within Telegram.
Yeah.
And you click a few buttons, and then it shows you, wow, you've been on Telegram for 7 years. You're elite. You're like this percentage, like small percentage of users because you've been around so long. And then you have a certain amount of dog tokens, right? So the coolest part is just like, yeah, I've been on Telegram for so long. But there's so many people claiming it that it shut the whole system down 2 days ago.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, I wonder if I've got some dog tokens.
Yeah, but I worked it out. The pre-market price was like, it's like $27. I was like, I'm not even gonna fucking fuck around with that.
Yeah.
You have any thoughts on the Pavel situation? He's been detained. I think he's been freed on bail.
Yeah, he's
already.
on bail. Yeah.
But interesting situation in France. Arrested for for cyberbullying and fraud that's happening on his platform, but not directly from him, which I think you could look at any social media platform and find examples of the same thing.
Yeah. It's it's the decline of the West. That's what I see. Like on that, the French police or whatever agency put out like their, like where they list out all the charges and stuff, and like they have like their seal or whatever like up in the corner, and then like the 3 words in like Latin or French or whatever, and it's like, and one of them was like freedom. It's like, it's just so ironic. We're just so far removed from like 1776 or something. So I don't know.
But that's like some other type of moves happening there, right? He's not being locked up actually because of that. It's because of some underlying, like some people don't like him, or there's some kind of like other thing at play. It's not actually because of that, because there would be more cyberbullying and scamming on Facebook probably.
Yeah.
And I mean, in Australia, the telephone, the amount that they scam out of old people waiting at home to talk to someone on the telephone, they're not going to shut the fucking telephone system down.
That's the analogy. Yeah.
So, it must be something else.
Yeah, well, a Russian official came out and said that it's just political, an attempted political assassination of someone.
But like, he's not even a Russian citizen anymore. Like, he gave up his Russian, and now he has like French and UAE citizenship. So like, he's not even, his name, he's Russian, but I don't know, man. It's a little bit disheartening. But what's interesting is like what's going to happen in the U.S. because if they're successful, like Elon, like what's going to happen there? And as Kamala gets elected, not to go into politics, but yeah, it's pretty dystopian. It's pretty dystopian. But there's just going to be another one. Like if it's not Telegram, it's going to be another one. Something else is going to spin up.
You use Telegram, obviously. We chat on Telegram. I love Telegram. We chat on Telegram.
Way better than WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And I was watching an interview with him, and they run it with like under 100 people. Telegram. Like it just shows the bloat that's in tech, when Telegram's being run by 100 people.
Or how about Paolo with USDT, and they've got like 100 people in their office.
Oh yeah.
And they're managing, they're like, of like sovereign nations, they're like in the top 20 of like money, and they're like 100 people.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
And they can just print more at any time too, right? They just print more. I'm disappearing from the frame.
Bring it in.
I'm back in. Here we go.
Yeah.
We can AI the other half of you.
Yeah. Can you
Make
put
it
a bionic arm?
cyborg, yeah.
They rebranded, or they're rebranding Phantom as Sonic, just FYI. So there might be another pump in there soon.
Do you chase that? Like, do you chase?
Not anymore.
No.
I've gotten a lot better. I'm just tired.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of it. And it doesn't work often. It works when everyone hates crypto. So in 2 years or whenever we go up and down again, when it's really, there's a lot more hate out there again, then I'll probably chase it. But right now, like anything could happen. And I'm over it. I'm over it. For now. Today.
Yeah.
Just for today.
So you are also the founder of an app here in Thailand.
I am.
And it's a motorbike rental app. Motorbikes are huge here, so I understand kind of jumping in that space. But really, what caused you to catch some inspiration and start building that? And talk about the Skoot is the name. Talk about that a bit.
Yeah, I just realized your hat is like almost like dog with hat. It's the same color, same style.
Yeah, Andrew with hat. We're launching
trying to get my own meme token going, and so I can run all of our audience members.
Yeah,
nice. Yeah. So Skoot, how did it start? I came here 3 years ago. I rented a motorbike. And
for the freedom. You came for the freedom.
Came for the freedom. Came for the good weather and all that stuff. I rented a scooter from a Swedish guy in Kamala, and I just was cruising around the island, and it was just like the most liberating, free thing. Like, you gotta understand, I was like in a van. So now I'm on a motorbike, tropics, like cruising all these beaches, and it's just like wow. And so it's just like, I love everything about riding a motorbike. And then I just kind of thought, like, why isn't there like, why? Because I didn't know if I got a good deal. Like, I didn't know if like I was getting taken by the Swedish guy, like paying tourist prices, or if he was gonna scam me later. And so I was just like, why isn't there an app for this? And that's what kicked it off. That's what started it.
And how long ago was that?
That was 3 years ago. Probably like September of 21.
And now do you know why there isn't?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Challenging process?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
Yeah, hardest thing I've ever done. And that includes
15
fire
years
academies and trying for 7 years to get hired. Yeah,
Wow.
This is the hardest thing I've ever done.
And what aspect of that is it? I mean, starting a business anywhere is challenging.
Yeah.
A tech business,
Mm-hmm.
a peer-to-peer market, like a marketplace, right? Not peer-to-peer, but a marketplace. So you got to build both sides, and you're a foreigner in Thailand.
Yeah, there's a lot of that's an uphill.
Friction.
Yeah, there's a lot of friction. Yeah, it's challenging. One of I would say two things maybe stand out to me as being like the most challenging. I am pretty tech savvy. Like, as far as like all my peers, like I think I'm probably like, top 5% of like just being generally tech savvy. But like, I'm not a coder. I'm just not a coder. I never spent the time to like learn how to code. And that means that you have to hire developers. And that means that there's some opaqueness of like how good that code is, or like what are the decisions being made architecture wise, or like what, all of these decisions are like generally outside of your scope. And so you're fully trusting somebody to do that. So I've had to switch developer teams and learned a lot of lessons. Like, if somebody, like I could start a consulting business like right now of like teaching people like how to start an app, right? Because that's how much I've learned. It'd probably be a terrible app, but like I could help. So that's the first thing, is like, being like a non-coding founder is challenging.
Yeah.
But doesn't stop me, and it's totally doable. And I've learned what I've learned, and there's a path there. The other side of it is like a little bit more related, like Skoot itself, which is marketing an app. It's one thing to like start an app, like you said. It's another thing to start a marketplace app, because now you're trying to market to two sides of, two giant groups of people. And then just like you said, like the scooter industry in Thailand is big business. Billions of dollars are in the scooter industry here and in Southeast Asia. And so you're trying to like upend the entire market in the way that it's been done here for like decades, right? And so that's a big lift. And so yeah, it's the marketing of trying to wedge yourself in there in a certain way that people are going to take you seriously.
And what's some small wins that you've had, like from early on, that you knew you were on the right path with it? Because I believe you went and you started developing first, and then once you had a product, you went out there. What was kind of like some confirmation that like, I'm on the right path?
So every time you get a Stripe transaction, you get a notification on your phone, and it's just like, ding.
Yeah.
That was like, I printed that receipt out, and it's on my wall right now.
Nice.
Like I spent so long building this thing, so much effort, so much thought goes into this thing, trying to make this platform as good as I possibly can. But the whole time, the whole development phase, you have no idea if it's going to work. None. You have none. Nobody. Is anybody going to take this seriously? And the first time, like, somebody other than your mom like rents a scooter bike or motorbike, that was like a big moment. It was a small win that probably lost me money on a transaction basis, but it was a big win.
And between kind of starting, I'm going to start building this, to when that first transaction came, how long was it?
Yeah, that was like solid year and a half. Yeah.
And where did that first customer come from?
Google Maps.
Nice.
Google Maps.
Tried and true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And came to Google Maps Skoot.
Yeah.
Or
However they
you-
found it, if it was like,
Yeah,
you know, scooter
okay.
rental.
You just know it was
Yeah.
okay.
And then I
Fantastic.
have, you know, the links to the website, and then you
Yeah.
can download the app that way. So that's how
Yeah.
they found it.
And so both sides, the marketing side's hard, the development side's hard. Now, at what stage are you at now, and what are you focused on now?
Yeah. So right now, the app is, the user side of it is like 90% of the way there. So then we have the whole partner side of the app, which is like 4 shops. So that's built, but it's not open yet. It's not public yet. So right now, and with high season coming in a few months, like my whole focus is marketing. Like,
To get more
users.
motorbike riders.
To get more riders. That's the number one thing. And then, you know, this year is going to be like the first full high season where I can see everything happening.
Yeah.
What the response is, and so this is going to be a big year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Cool.
On the development side, now that you've gained a lot of experience being a non-developer founder of a tech product, what advice would you give to people in a similar position?
Yeah. So I could go like way out on a limb and say, learn to code. Like, and it's getting easier and easier and easier to do that. And there are like, you know how Wix is like what you see is what you get, like Wizig or whatever, I don't know. But they have that for apps now. And so like Flutter is a language, Skoot is written in Flutter. They have that for
Like a drag and drop builder.
Like a drag and drop builder. And like you could do it yourself, and like you could get at least an MVP out there that like gets you pretty far, at least to test the market. Like that's what I would recommend. If it's an app, if it's for an app.
And having hired a couple development teams, what do you look for in those teams and those people?
Great question. Yeah, so development teams can range everywhere from having like almost like a hacker house in India where you've got like, you know, tons of developers working on your project, cranking out stuff. But there's a lot of unknowns there about like what's happening behind the scenes, like what's the quality of this code, to where on the far other end is like a very like CTO consultant oriented, VC connected, like, you know, person. And I switched from the first one to the second one. But I think there's definitely room for both. I think the key is to have that second person, but maybe they are doing more like architectural decisions, code auditing, stuff like that. They're not actually doing the coding themselves. But then you have this just like code monkeys on the other hand that can like iterate very fast, spit something out very fast, and something that's maybe not 100% there, but like that iteration is like so important. Yeah.
Good advice.
So would you recommend for a new founder that has an idea that wants to make an app of some description, would you recommend that they do an MVP first?
Yeah.
And not just develop the whole thing first?
Yeah. And I would even maybe go one step before that and say, like, market it first.
Yeah.
Like it's really easy to get caught in this because we're so used to using apps that are like at scale, like the apps that you use on your phone every day, like Grab or like these banking apps, like PayPal, whatever. Like these are very intricate apps that have been around for a long time. And so like when you start to develop an app, like you're already thinking 100 steps down the road of what this app should look like, all the functionality it should have, like what are all the features, like what are users. But like you have to realize that every single one of those ideas is like, oh, there's 10 grand, there's 10 grand, there's 20 grand. So it's like I try to not have any ideas anymore, you know? So you could market it before you even start down that road.
Yeah.
This transitions into an interesting thing so Reid Hoffman, the founder of LinkedIn, put out a Twitter thread, and he's talking about AI. It's a little bit of a pivot, but this ideas conversation, and also, so he's kind of been well known to predict big paradigm shifts. So he was talking about the dominance of social media back in 97. He's talking about the rise of like this kind of rental economy with Airbnb. So he was ahead of the curve on all these things. Now he's saying that within 10 years, no one's going to have 9-to-5 jobs anymore. The costs of everything are going to be so low because of AI that nothing's going to have a cost. So you're just going to be able to live without these high costs. But something very interesting in that is the shift from now successful people are executors, but he thinks in the future, not too distant future, it's going to be ideas that really drive success, because you can have AI execute all these things. So you talk about executing, that just triggered me into this other thing I've been thinking about a lot. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? And
if that's true, that would represent like a complete paradigm shift.
Yeah.
Because like ideas are like worth almost nothing.
Yeah.
Because everybody has them.
Apart from our idea.
Yeah. They're just, yeah. So it's like, wow, if that's true, then what are humans even gonna be? They're just gonna be these like blobs that can't execute. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's kind of
personalized Netflix and opioid laced goo
just
being
pumped
into
coming into an IV
absolutely.
in your neck.
It's sad, but I see it, unfortunately.
That's kind of trippy to think about.
Yeah.
The personalized Netflix stuff is fun. Like,
yeah,
we've had this talk before. I don't know if you've ever thought about it, but like a future is coming where there's no fully produced movies and TV shows anymore. You go home, you plug in, you turn on the TV, and it's just feeding you content that it's making up on the spot based on what you want to see and what it thinks you're going to engage with.
That's Matrix.
that's
So where we're heading.
I think it's a while away, but not too far, like 10 years.
Dude, what is like, because the whole thing in the Matrix was like they're producing electricity, right? Like they were harvesting humans for electricity. Because it's like, if you've got Neuralink in your head and it's plugged in your Netflix account, and it's just playing things in your mind, like what are you producing? Like, what are you producing? Electricity? Neurochemicals?
Maybe thumbs up. Emojis? I don't know.
Wow,
you could just think
It's a
of
good
emoji.
question.
Yeah, it's a bit dark. And I think that's one of the reasons why, like, I know it's a bit of a far removed jump, but it's like moving from the West to somewhere like here where it's like, at least it's going to take a bit longer to filter down. And if you want to escape to the countryside, you can, and be completely removed from this. I mean, I've said it before, the only fear I really have is that Australia wants me to come back.
Yeah.
To keep a passport, and I don't have any other option to get a passport yet, and that's the only thing attached me there, you know, because like self-driving cars in America are so close to nearly everyone, like you're years away from everyone self-driving, you know, and it'll be like it's safety first. You must activate self-driving. There's this percentage less.
That was the whole thing, the whole cell.
And this will be, and here it'll take a bit longer.
Do you think that's a psyop? I think there's like so many things at play there. One is like the forcing us into our own silos. Like just talking about the AI generating your own movies for you. Like culturally, it's such a massive thing to like share these theater experiences. It's like, okay, this TV show that everyone's talking about, everyone's tuning in, but if nobody's watching the same shit anymore, nobody can connect on that level. But then also the psyop to control everything. It's like you got to use self-driving cars because it's safer, but really they're just taking more power by controlling the whole grid and controlling all these cars, and they can turn things off and things can get hacked. So a lot of darkness there.
Yeah, I think it'll be. I think it's actually a good thing. I think it's okay. I think it would be nice to be able to opt out of it if you want, but I don't think that will be a
It's not gonna be
case.
possible.
The idea of going on a 2-hour drive and not having to actually drive as the normal driver in the family, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice. That sounds nice, not to be stuck in traffic. But I think it ends up into this, like, humans want to take the easy road. Humans want the lazier, softer, easier way. And there is like a counterculture to this now, with all these kind of like Spartan races and like hard mudder and all these types of things
like
like
raw dogging airplane
yeah,
flights.
raw dogging. Have you seen that? That's classic. I got a buddy that stands on like needles in the morning, you know, just to like, I don't know,
That does
feel
sound
pain.
Who are you hanging out with?
You know him. But I lost my point there. Oh, we just go for the softer way. And I think you're gonna have to make a decision to go, no, I'm going to continue to, you know, do these things because it makes a full life, you know. And but I think there will be the option to completely opt out, to get your minimum basic salary or minimum basic wage, to go plug into personalized Netflix and get food fucking droned into you and shoved down your throat. I think it's there for a big percentage of the population to opt out, but I don't know what value then that they will bring back, because I think that kind of plan works for whoever the powers that be are, if there's still some value somehow.
Well, yeah. Like this is like birth rates. Like birth rates are like plummeting in all of these places where like those things are prevalent or like coming to, you know, like birth rates are like declining in Japan and the United States. So like maybe it dies like on some level. Like maybe it's not sustainable like for
The West dies.
like a species. Like maybe it's not, I don't know.
Do you know where birth rates are going up?
Huh?
Birth rates are going up.
Where?
I'm just asking.
Oh.
You.
I have no idea.
Israel.
Okay.
Birth rates are going up.
Wait, are you being serious?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Everyone's
But,
favorite place.
Yeah, but there's not too many places on the planet where birth rates are going up.
So you're saying either you'll be forced to be a David Goggins type hard person, or you're going to be a blob, and that's going to be the two genders of the future.
Paths. Yeah. No, I'm not sure. I just see like some darkness on the horizon.
Yeah.
And even me, like, you know, I notice, like, I've been a person that always hasn't wanted their phone around, hasn't been very aware of scrolling, never downloaded TikTok still to this day. But, you know, the reels got me, and then now shorts. And I feel a noticeable change with my fucking phone in the room. And I feel it. And I when I think, if I feel it, others feel it.
Do you feel that like these things are happening in your life and like it's a source of like dread that because you see it happening, or it's the result of it is like making you feel worse?
No, I just think there's some great entertaining stuff on there. It's fucking hilarious, right? But if it's taking up time that you feel like you could better use to enjoy your life in another way, I feel like that's where it comes from. And I feel like that option has always been easy for me to choose. I don't want that, I want that, right? However, I feel that there's something kind of scratching that it's like being drawn into it more.
Yeah, the deeper you go, it's cheap serotonin. So it's like blast,
fire.
blast. And then you go away from it and you feel drained a bit in a weird way.
Like, I won't bring it into the bedroom, it stays out in the living room, you know? And I think that I'll have to make some more of these types strong barriers in the future.
Like a time lock safe, you just throw it in there.
Yeah. There's apps that will block you from certain things, you know? I don't want to be a crazy person though and like track my online time and all this, you know? But
but you don't need to check your portfolio of, you know,
absolutely
100 times.
when you get up to pee in the morning, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just refresh.
Yeah.
Andrew, you've looked at OnlyFans 15 times in the last hour. Maybe chill out. Question on, so are you thinking about AI with Skoot at all?
A little bit. A guy reached out to me who's an AI developer, and he looked at everything in Skoot, and he wanted to build something in the app like you know how you go on some websites and you'll see like this like character pop up and it's just like trying to talk to you, like an AI chat type
like
thing.
Clippy.
Yeah. I guess he was like the first one. So he wanted to do something maybe similar to that, and I don't know if that's like full AI, but it definitely is like some sort of like language learning model of like, you know, getting all those questions. But I feel like people are so used to, okay, so it's always a question of like, where do I want to put development money? And if that's the question, the answer is no, right? People use Grab, they don't have an AI thing in there, right? It's just they click around, they find it, whatever. But like if it got to the point to where people are using Siri and they're saying things like, rent me a motorbike, and then it's done, like you just rented one and you trust that it's a good shop, you trust that you're paying the fair price and you're not then in that case, like then I think you can't ignore it anymore.
I think the chat bot is low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
And it could possibly help with the onboarding process, maybe just from the sales process, like questions related to renting a motorbike and driving in Thailand or Southeast Asia. Yeah, but I'm with you. It's like, you know, what are you going to use it for? Maybe some marketing stuff. The amount that one person can do with AI now is so much more than like, so if you get one guy who's pretty good at using AI, like Andrew over there, the amount that they can produce and do with AI is amazing.
Way more,
especially in the marketing team or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. From like a marketing angle.
Yeah, if you're working with a marketing agency that doesn't say that it's using AI to do this, like people say, oh, I don't want to pay for them to just use AI to generate stuff. If you're not using a marketing agency that's all on board with AI, I think you're losing long term, because yeah, it's a big multiplier.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents.
What about blockchain or crypto within your app?
Yeah, so that's definitely like entered into the conversations, and we're building right now a crypto integration just for payments. So that's like the lowest hanging fruit of like crypto, is just accepting crypto payments.
What meme coin can I pay for my scooter rental with?
Ideally all of them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I'm gonna sell
sold.
that. I'm gonna sell that shit the second you and settle to something else. Yeah, so that's like the first, like, you know, integration would just be payments. The next one is some sort of like reward, dare I say, token, right? Where
Points.
0.5.
Yeah, where you're renting a scooter, you're earning Skoot, and you can later use that for like more rentals or discounts or whatever. Or you could spin up a liquidity pool on Uniswap, you know.
Yeah.
But you're not going to have 95% of the supply like I will. So
we're going to talk about that seed deal.
Yeah.
Skoot token.
Yeah, so that's like the medium range one. But then there's like the full like integration, like using blockchain for like what it was meant for. And where somehow Skoot itself is some sort of matching protocol running on a blockchain that's like decentralized, but I'm just not really sure why yet, right? Like I don't know. I haven't really thought that all the way to its full thing, but it does seem like there maybe would be something running on a blockchain that's decentralized and like providing scooters to everybody. Like I just don't know exactly what
I've got one.
Yeah.
Small business DeFi loans with Grab now, right? If you're a Grab merchant, right, and your restaurant, say for example, is selling food on Grab, they know how much money you're pushing through Grab.
Yeah.
And they will offer you loans, one click,
to expand their business.
To expand your business for them.
Yeah.
So with motorbikes, it could be the same. Wow, you did really well last high season. Here's some money.
Yeah.
One click, you know. But
that's
maybe
really
you don't.
interesting.
But maybe you don't need crypto for that. Again, but it just is interesting.
I mean, I think you would, right? Well,
we would.
But you would need to have some sort of like real world asset that's collateralized to like be able to like make that loan, right? Or like how are they? I don't know.
You have to have a company, but it's a few clicks. They get all your company information when you sign up for the app. So they have all that. They have your bank account. They're already paying you. And actually they're accepting the money for the food payments. So what they do is they just deduct it from how much they're going to send you, your loan payment. So I just thought it's an interesting one.
I wonder if they're partnered with a bank or if they're doing it internally.
Yeah, my guess is they're doing it internally, but I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't.
that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for any viewers who want to rent a motorbike here in Thailand, where can they find you, or just pay attention to what you're building? And
Yeah, you can, if you want to check out the app, you just go to search Skoot, Skoot, on either App Store and you can find it. And then like we have our website, which I just did like a revamp of. But yeah, those are the main things. Scootnow.com is the website.
And also, there's an affiliate program, so
Yes.
we can get a Skoot link and put it in the description.
Yes.
We can get some commission. From
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
finally,
Yeah.
And
finally makes
Yeah.
money from this after our 5th podcast.
Yeah. If you own a hotel or a villa, or if you have a motorbike rental shop, reach out.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's great.
yeah, we'll link it up.
Congratulations.
Thank
I
you.
think it's a long time coming. I think it's a difficult path, but it looks like you're on the precipice there. So it's exciting.
Yeah, Brian, thank you. Yeah, I need to hear that stuff. I totally underestimated how important little tidbits that people tell me like along the way, but it is like breadcrumbs to like keep walking forward. Brian Armstrong said, he's like, yeah, when I was building Coinbase, it's like your whole life becomes this thing where you're pushing this snowball up a hill, like up. You're pushing for years and pushing it up and trying to find product market fit. And then finally it gets to the top and it starts going down the other side, and it's going so fast that everything breaks and you have to rethink everything, and you're just like trying to like, yeah,
I wish I had a hold of it still.
yeah.
Just
wish you were still pushing it up.
So where are you on the hill?
I think we're right at the top.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
some
right at
fun
the top.
stuff to look forward to.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah, yachts and just drugs and yeah,
Sweet.
Perfect.
yeah.
Fuck, marry, kill. Vitalik, Pavel, Sailor.
Oh, kill a sailor. Kill a sailor. Can you imagine being married to that guy?
That was my. That was who I was about to tie the knot with.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh man. Okay, fuck, marry, kill. Kill a sailor right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
I want an explanation after, but
Okay. Okay, fuck, marry, kill. Vitalik is
what do you?
yeah, Vitalik's a marry,
Yeah.
and then
Man.
Pavel is a fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
We see